Welcome along,
Hey, mate.
Gareth.
How you doing?
Thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, no problem at all, mate.
Firstly, happy birthday for the other day.
Thanks, buddy.
I thought
Thanks.
we'd start.
Stop counting the years now.
Well, what did you get up to? Anything nice?
I was out for the day with my business partner and another guy we work with visiting a factory. So I spent all day either in a car or in a factory. So,
Well,
not the most exciting of birthdays, let's say that.
right. So I see that you're from the food background, a vast experience from the food background. Could you give me a bit of background story behind your history?
Yeah, of course. So I've been in food and drink for about 15 years, mostly in commercial roles. So I've worked across chilled, ambient, frozen, and drinks, brand, private label, and yeah, mostly in the commercial environment. So selling products into the retailers, market channel entry strategy, business development. Working for large brands, small brands, private label. Work with pretty much most of the customers across the UK. A bit of export experience as well. And in the last kind of 5 years, myself and my business partner Reece George run Visionary Food Solutions. So we work with a number of young brands and help them in the exact same way. So taking product to market, understanding how to enter the market, and exploring the opportunities for those brands.
Cool. So when I approached you with my brands to taste, what were your initial thoughts or feelings towards the brand?
So initial thoughts on, tasting something new is the first thing is brilliant, because that's what my job is, finding and exploring new brands and trying something different and exploring why something's different, why it's good. I just opened the packet now, so
yeah, cool.
Did keep it cool. It's chilled in the fridge. I think it looks really cool, mate. It looks really cool. Certainly different. The kind of ingredient list and what you're trying to achieve there. With the breads, avocado, lime. I can't get my head around that as a combination. So that's why I'm really excited to try it and see how they kind of work together. Is
there anything that popped out straight away which intrigued you, other than the flavors? Or
I guess the good bacteria side of it as well.
Okay.
I guess people are looking for more functional products. And it's not very often you're going to get a product like this, which will give you some added benefits. So that's really intriguing, I think.
Oh yeah. I just find it fascinating to speak to people like yourself who are in the industry. So instead of just sending out samples, I'm trying to gather a lot of knowledgeable people who will give me just guidance or just their opinion on the product, and they can say I like it, I don't like it. So this way of doing it is quite interesting, I find. And
yeah, I mean, nobody's ever approached me really, other than brands that want to work with us.
Yeah,
nobody's ever approached me. Look, try this. Let's get some feedback and see what it's like. So yeah, I think it's definitely a good approach.
Cool. Would you like to crack it open?
Yeah, I'd love to. I will be very honest.
That's the whole point of this. The whole point of me doing it in person is to see that initial reaction.
Yeah. Sourness, can't you? Have you had to play around with the levels of like the sourdough in there to
actually it's been quite I've not really played around with it too much, I did like three or four times trying.
Yeah, that's really nice. That's really nice. Yeah,
That's a good
really,
start.
really. Yeah, always a good start. Yeah, you've definitely got that sourness to it, which is quite different, I think, for a beer. But yeah, very, very different, and you can hear it working away in there as well in the bottle. But you definitely get the lime as well, don't you?
Yeah. So you should get like a sort of subtle aniseedy taste, which comes from the avocado leaves. Then zesty like lime citrusy flavour comes from the lime leaves, and
Yeah.
obviously the sourness comes from the sourdough.
Yeah, you get it in that order as well, don't you?
Yeah.
You're getting that aniseed, that little aniseed, not unpleasant, just that little note of it to start with, and then you've got that.
I don't want it to be overpowering because aniseed is quite hit and miss with people, but I think it's such a unique flavour that it stands us out from other flavours, but also it's quite pleasant.
Mm.
And
I totally agree. I think you've got that on the head there, because yeah, very, very hit and miss aniseed, isn't it? I mean, I'm not a huge fan personally, but it's quite pleasant when you've got it there very subtly.
Yeah. So how would you envision drinking this normally? Would this be your go-to? What's your normal go-to drink when you...
Would it be my go-to? I would have to drink more of it to tell you how I get on with it, and if it was a go-to drink. I'd normally drink an IPA. Not massively loyal to brands. The likes of Beavertown. It's quite interesting, in the summer. Things like a shandy, like Shandy Shack's products, I think, are pretty good. But yeah, I would absolutely, that wouldn't be something I would steer clear of as part of a kind of core product. I'd happily drink that.
Cool. Well, you said you like an IPA, so we use the term IPA in a slightly different term. So it's an ideal plausible alternative because we're in the low alcohol one. As an IPA buyer, would that be a questionable use of a term compared to not using it at all? Because it's not like your traditional IPA,
No.
but we're trying to give it a different meaning.
Yeah, I'm not sure you need to use it. If I'm being honest, I don't think you need to have that kind of play on the terms there. Really.
Okay.
Personally, yeah, I don't think so. But wouldn't mean a lot to me. If I'm being honest. I tell you one thing that is with the jumping around a little bit with the branding. I think you get the mental perception with just your colours you've gone for there.
Yeah.
You're expecting it to be appley cider almost. With that would be my first choice. If I was walking past that and saw that on a fixture, the first thing I would think is that's probably cider.
Okay.
It's
a slight feel about cidery as well. When I've done tasting with other people, it bounces between a very light beer to kombucha-ish to cider. So, and some people say like a prosecco. So, do you think that would put people off if it has that greenness look? People think always cider.
I don't think it will put people off, but when someone's if you're talking in a retailer or in a bar, when someone's looking quickly and they're making that 2-second decision on what they're going to pick, and if they're going to look at something new as well, they might just skim that and just straight away go cider. And if they're a beer drink, they might go straight past it. Okay. In terms of eyesight, you've got you've got a number of barriers when putting a new product into the market. You know, your flavor, your price point, and your branding. And if somebody straight away thinks you might be in another category, they might just go straight past it.
Okay. How could I capture them without? Is there a clever way of doing that to change that?
You can make beer more apparent on the labeling. Okay. You could actually colour the word and make that stand out a bit more. You know, even if you were just to break that colour, you know, clash it like a red and break that into someone's eye line. You know, you don't necessarily need to make it big and bold and centre of the product, but if you had some way of catching eye to it, drawing someone's eye to it.
Do you think the logo itself would stand out on shelves?
The logo, I don't think will stand out with your green on green.
Okay.
I quite like the logo, but again, you know, when someone's got that like 2 seconds to make a decision on something, it might not stand out as much as if you clashed it. And I'm not a branding expert, you know. I know what I like and I know what I don't like. But yeah, that's the only thing I would say with that, mate. To be honest.
So I tried this with my last tasting session guy. So if I'm from a food background, and as restaurateurs and pubs, we focus heavily on TripAdvisor. So if we were doing a TripAdvisor, out of 5, what would you give us a rating, and what would your headline be on your review?
I would probably, I really like it. I do really like it. I'd probably give it a 4. You know, it's not, it wouldn't be, you know, it would have to be ideal to be a 5. I'd give it a 4. What would my headline be? I don't know. Put me on the spot now. Tasty light beer.
Okay.
I'd like it. It's an enjoyable drink. It's got a lot of carbonation to it, isn't it?
Is it what you thought it was going to taste like?
Mate, I had no idea what it tastes like. I honestly, because of the flavors you've got in there, honestly didn't have a clue what I was going to try, and that's really unusual. You know, you've usually got a really good steer in your head of where something's going to go in terms of a product and flavor profile. So I really had no preconceptions of it in terms of flavor, because I couldn't get my head around that mix. If that makes sense. You know, usually it's quite, you get a preconception of something because you really understand the flavor, and it's just whether something overpowers something else. But the blend you've got in there, you know, avocado, lime, and sourdough, you know, I don't know how your head gets with that. So I'd like it. As I say, I like trying something new, and it's very different. I like it.
So being different, I've approached a couple big supermarkets with this product.
Yeah.
I've just kind of got feedback saying they love the product, love the branding, but it's too niche. Do you think I'm going to have that issue going forward with a lot of, because as you said earlier, you work with a lot of supermarkets and retail. Do you think this is what I'm going to hit quite often with this product?
You absolutely will, until you build a community for it.
Okay.
I think you start building a community, get people to buy into it, and build, you know, a kind of critical mass behind it. And then if you go to a supermarket and say, well, yes, I am niche, but we've got this amount of people who follow us, love us, buy into it, buy direct to consumer, you know, buy from our website, and they need a bricks and mortar location to make it a destination for our product. And Tesco's, we've got 100,000 people who would love to come into your store and buy it. That's what you've got to do. You've got to build that kind of reason to believe.
Okay.
I think you'd struggle without that.
Yeah, it's the thing. Since I saw that response back from the email, I'm trying to find how to respond back to it and say, well, I understand it's niche, but I'm just trying to work out how to break that barrier down, because I believe being niche is great because you're unique. You're not like everyone else. But then sometimes that scares other people away.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to be unique. You go back to the days where there was so much repetition in store, and there is still repetition in store, but there was a lot of repetition, 5-6 years ago. Buyers now want something with a clear, unique selling point. They don't want 5 products in there that can do exactly the same job. Yes, if there's loyalty for brands and some people buy into it, absolutely. But they want something that's unique. But you are going to have to build that argument to where the awareness is and who's going to pick it up. You need that. It's not. I don't think it's be as simple. I think you're right. This is going to be very niche. It's not going to be as simple as just consumer panels and things like that, and going to a buyer armed with that. I think you're going to have to start getting some traction with it and build that community.
Cool. So I'm just trying to see how I play this one. Tell
me a little bit more about it, mate. When have you come up with this? How long has it taken you?
So a bit of background. So I'm a chef by trade. I was a chef for 17 years, and then I ran a micro bakery in Essex for 4 years. I had a lot of bread left over from a market one day where it just didn't work. Bad day at the office. Sunday morning, I was watching Sunday Brunch. I love the program. And they do segments on food and drink.
Yeah.
And on this particular one, they did it on Eastern European food and drink. And the last one was a drink called kvass, which is made from bread. And it just sparked an interest in me. And I was like, I love to be different.
Yeah.
I've always been one of those creative chefs. Come into my head chef, say, I've got this wacky idea. Can we try this? And then even with my breads, I was doing wacky ideas with bread. So it just captured my interest straight away. So I got the bread that didn't sell and tested it. I thought I was getting far straight away. So I went to a canning company with this product, said, can this for me. They canned it, and it exploded all over their factory. They weren't too happy with me, but so I had to go back to the drawing board. And I was working with another guy who had more of a knowledge on kvass, so he just gave me pointers here and there. And then it was through lockdown, and I saw so many people bake sourdough. And I'm like, well, I have sourdough here. I want that to be my key part, because kvass is normally made with rye bread. Okay. And not many people in the UK eat rye bread, but a lot of youngsters are eating sourdough at the moment. Yeah. So the more sourdough's baked, the more surplus there will be. So it gives me that sustainable element to the business. Yeah. And then I was thinking, what goes well with sourdough is avocado on toast. Yeah. And that's how you got the flavour combo there. And then I've been joined with 2 other guys as shareholders, and I was very fortunate to bring in some very talented guys in terms of branding and marketing, and that's so they've helped me tremendously, and we've just been trying to develop it further and further over the last year or 2, and so this is our first production run, and it's just trying to get feeders out and gaining knowledge and reputation for the brand itself.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think you've definitely gone the right route for going sourdough rather than rye.
Yeah.
I think you'd have had a real barrier to that, I think. I wouldn't pick it up if it said rye bread on there.
No. And although I've got a couple of really cool other flavors coming in a few years, but all my focus at the moment is on trying to get this out and see.
So what are you doing? Are you actually selling it? You've got a direct consumer website? Are you selling in independent shops or anything?
Yeah, so we've got a website. So I sell direct to customer. I'll offer you a discount code for whoever you have, family and friends or connections. So that'd be GH2010. They can have 22% off our case to try. I also am in a few pubs, restaurants, and that. So we're trying on that side. I'm in a really big hotel, Holiday Inn, and a couple bakeries. So a few places I'm just testing out, and then at the moment I'm talking to a lot of FMCG companies, so retail and supermarkets, and see what they think of the product and if we can push that aside with it.
Yeah, and that's what you're doing, isn't it? You're trying to build up a proof of concept, proof of rate of sale,
it's being plausible, and this is why these tastings will hopefully give me that credibility towards it. If I have, say, people like yourself who have got a vast experience in the industry saying you like it, and number of other people saying they like it, and they've all got vast experience in the industry, it's not just me coming to the buyer and saying I've got this good product. I can go to them, well, check out my YouTube channel, and you can pick whatever amount of reviews and they can see what they think.
Yeah, good way of doing it. You know, definitely going to excuse me, have this with food, aren't you?
Yeah, hopefully.
Because that is a nice accompaniment to a rich meal, because you've got that cutting through, haven't you?
It should be like a palate cleanser, because it's not so heavy. It's not going to overpower the food, which is the key part. So this one be a nice refreshes your mouth during your meal, so you're not feeling bloated or it's too much. So
yeah, I'd agree with that.
Cool. And I also saw you run Bear Hug, is it? Yeah. So how did you start it?
Is Bear Hug? So I play rugby. Well, just retired. Union. Union, mate. Union. And just years of battering my body, I guess, and my ankles were so sore just from impact injuries, soft tissue, that I got to a point where I was really not enjoying playing or training. Tried all the products in the UK. I personally found nothing helped me. So worked with a manufacturer to develop these products, which are made out of bamboo, charcoal down woven into a support. And as you wear them, it insulates the supported area, so it stops your body heat leaving, and it basically warms the area up. So it gives you greater flexibility in soft tissue. And I was working with a company. It was really for my own use, and I did it, and it honestly changed my life, because I went immediately to enjoying playing sport again. At that point, it was, wow, this could actually, if this is this good for me, this could be a brand here. So then did some market research, looked at the category, and saw that, you know, there wasn't anyone from a lifestyle perspective really focusing on the category. You know, the big brands, the Nikes of the world, were slapping their logos on cheap, tatty products, which is where the issue came from in the first place, because that was the kind of product we had. So yeah, a number of years later, we're now we sell online, Amazon, on our website, and starting to build a bit of bricks and mortar presence. A lot of independent stores picking it up. So yeah, early days, but going really well.
It was just quite interesting, because last year I sponsored a parkour team. So it's they feature in the World Chase Tag, and a lot of it's a very injury based because it's very competitive. So if I can give you any value, have a look at the guys because they probably would look into using something like this.
Yeah, mate. Drop me over a message with the details of who they are, and I'll check them out.
Yeah, because the sport's growing massively, and I could see this being very beneficial in that sport. Yeah. So I was sponsoring them for the World UK Championships, and they've got the Worlds next weekend. So that'll be a massive opportunity for you guys.
I mean, we're just starting to get into different sports and work with different teams. We're working with Zimbabwe rugby team on their journey through to the World Cup potentially next year. But yeah, we've got people from all sports. MMA is big for us, and ultimately runners. There's a lot of runners pick up our products. It's that help to not only help with injury, but to prevent injury as well. Give yourself that greater flexibility as you run. And parkour is probably about as tough as it gets with twists and turns and the tag games. Yeah, I bet you it's a tough one.
Cool. So finally, what ideally do you think I would need to do to progress my brand further?
It's all going to be about building that presence, mate. It's all going to be about being authentic. This kind of thing is brilliant. You're getting real feedback, and you start pushing this out on your social media, and people will buy into it. People buy into very authentic conversations and reactions, I think. So I think what you're doing here is really good. But yeah, ultimately, it's going to be getting it in front of as many people as possible and building that reason to believe for a buyer to pick it up and run with it. When you get to that stage, you could potentially look at the kind of incubator schemes that some of the top guys have got and apply for those. You just need to get this out in as many hands as possible, really.
And I guess that will make me plausible in terms of the more people giving that honest feedback, the more voices will clarify the authenticity to the product.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. And that's what you need. You just need people to be picking up, particularly because you've got something that's very different. It's that encouraging that trial. That's what you've got to do. Encourage trial. You're just going to have to promote and advertise your social media, your social media advertising, and just try and get your brand out there as much as possible. There's the collaborations with other brands with similar audiences. They're always great to kind of cross-pollinate. So definitely worth doing that as well. And if you want to do anything like that, I can put you in touch with Lowry and our marketing team, and she can help you with some ideas on that.
Cool. Thank you very much for giving the drink a try and being open to doing this.
Yeah, mate. And any other flavors in the future you want me to try, I'm happy to, and I'll give you feedback.
Go for it. I'll sign you up straight away.
I'm there. Yeah, thank you for approaching me. As I say, I love trying new products, and it's even better when you get to chat to the person who's the brains behind them and why. So yeah, really appreciate it.
Cool. Have a great night. And
cheers, mate.
Thank you very much again. Cheers.
Buddy.